This is the sound of freedom. Well, it was supposed to be.
Mayday! Mayday! Ship taking on water!
Mohammed Aisha wasn't actually drowning. His ship was fine, but after 2 years alone on an abandoned cargo vessel, he figured sinking might be the only way Egyptian authorities would let him off. He was wrong. This isn't a story about one unlucky sailor. Right now, there are over 2,000 seafarers trapped on abandoned ships around the world. They can't leave. They won't get paid, and the system that put them there, it's working exactly as designed. So imagine you're at work, and your boss stops paying you. The building has no power, no water, and rats have moved in. But here's the twist. If you leave, you go to jail. If you stay, you slowly starve. That's not a dystopian novel. That's just maritime law. And to understand how we got here, we need to talk about ships, money, and a letter you should never, ever, ever sign. But first, let me introduce you to Mohammed Aisha, a Syrian sailor, 29 years old, boards a ship called the MV Aman in May 2017. Pretty standard cargo vessel, 330 feet long, carries general cargo around the Red Sea. 2 months later, Egyptian authorities stopped the ship. The owner hasn't paid a $21,500 bill for an anchor. I know, $21,000. That's like a Honda Civic. But here's the thing about maritime law. It's ancient. Like older than bread ancient. And ships can be arrested, not the owner, the actual ship. It's called a maritime lien. So if you provide goods or services to a ship and don't get paid, you can literally arrest the ship until someone pays. So the ship becomes the defendant, and that Honda Civic priced anchor is about to cost Mohammed 4 years of his life. See, the captain's on shore running errands, and a court official boards with legal papers. And the captain, this is important, the captain tells Mohammed to sign them. Mohammed signs. He was doing his job, but he just became the ship's legal guardian. And what's that mean? Well, in maritime law, ships are like children. They need a responsible adult at all times. That person is legally responsible for the ship's safety, its debts, any damage it causes, and here's the kicker. They can't leave until a replacement is found or the ship's issues are resolved. And of course, Mohammed doesn't know it yet, but he basically just signed himself into prison. Okay, so to understand Mohammed's nightmare, you need to understand how ships actually work. And trust me, it's weirder than you think. Every ship needs to be registered to a country, like how your car has license plates. That country's laws govern the ship. Makes sense, right? So if you're a Greek shipping company with Greek ships, you register in Greece. But here's where it gets weird. What if I told you that the world's largest shipping fleet is registered to landlocked Mongolia, or that a ship owned by an American company built in South Korea can be registered in Panama, a country the owners never even visited? They're called flags of convenience. But why do this? 3 reasons. 1, taxes are lower. 2, labor laws are weaker. And 3, when something goes wrong, good luck figuring out who's responsible. So the ship's owner is in Bahrain. The flag's from Tanzania, and they're supposed to enforce the rules, but they're 3,000 miles away. So it's like if your landlord lived in Japan, your apartment was technically in Switzerland, but physically in New York, and when the heat breaks, everyone just points at each other while you freeze. So Mohammed's on the ship with 15 other crew members. They're playing cards, waiting for the owner to pay that anchor bill. Days turn to weeks, weeks turn to months. So here's what the owner, Yusuf bin Sanad, keeps doing. He texts the ship's agent, that's like the ship's local representative who handles supplies and paperwork, pictures of cash, with the caption, "On my way to the Western Union," but never sends it. Goes dark for weeks, pops up again with new promises. And the agent is actually spending his own money to keep the crew fed. Why? He's out $100,000 by the end. Because in this bizarre system, the agent often gets stuck with the bills, hoping to get paid back when the ship sells. Spoiler, he probably won't. And one by one, the crew starts leaving. They're owed months of wages, but staying means maybe never getting home. By summer 2018, Cook quits, so Mohammed starts watching Jamie Oliver on his phone, trying to bake bread. It comes out either burned or basically raw dough. It's September 2018. Mohammed's mother calls less frequently. She has cancer. On September 10th, a relative calls, asking if he's sitting down. His mother is dead. He can't go to the funeral because he's the legal guardian of the ship. And by August 2019, Mohammed is now completely alone on a ship designed for 20 people. But here's the thing, Mohammed's not special. Well, his case is extreme, but the abandonment, that's normal. You see, in 2020, there were 85 new abandonment cases. In 2023, over 150 ships. That's more than 2,000 sailors. And that number, it keeps going up. So why is this happening? We can boil it down to, once again, 3 main reasons. 1, you see, shipping is volatile. Fuel prices prices spike, a port fee surprises you, an engine breaks, and suddenly your profitable route is bleeding money. Number 2, the ships getting abandoned aren't massive container vessels. They're smaller, older ships on marginal routes. One bad month can sink the whole operation financially. And number 3, it's often cheaper to abandon the ship than fix the problem. The owner just disappears, changes their phone number, and starts a new company. The ship? Now that's someone else's problem. Now back to Mohammed. September 2019. He's been alone for a month. No power, rationing food. He does something desperate. He calls Mayday.
Mayday! Mayday! Ship taking on water.
A search and rescue boat arrives, then leaves. Hours later, military patrol shows up. They take him to land. 10 days of interrogations. And they put him back on the ship. In March 2020, a storm hits. The ship starts dragging its anchor, headed straight for an oil tanker, and Mohammed realizes they don't have enough fuel to change course. They miss the tanker by meters. Then they're headed for an old oil platform, and they miss that too. And when the sun rises, the MV Aman has run aground 300 yards from a small village. Now he can swim to shore. Local sailors bring him food in plastic bags. The police make a deal. He can come ashore during the day, but must return by sunset. So why can't anyone fix this? Let's talk about maritime law. There's something called Maritime Labor Convention. It's basically the Bill of Rights for sailors. It says a bunch of things, like crews must be paid monthly, ships must have adequate food and medical supplies. When abandonment happens, the flag state, remember that's the country the ship is registered to, they're supposed to step in, pay to send the crew home, make sure they get their wages, take responsibility. Tanzania flagged Mohammed's ship. When notified about his situation, Tanzania's response was nothing, no reply. Even Egypt never signed the convention. Neither did Bahrain, where the ship's owner was. So you have countries, none of which want responsibility, and one man trapped between them. It's April 2021. Mohammed's been on the ship for 4 years. The ITF union finds a volunteer to become the new legal guardian. A court approves the switch. And on April 20th, Mohammed gets a call. Pack your bags. He swims to the ship one last time, gathers his things, walks the empty corridors. 4 years of his life in this floating prison. He still hasn't been paid. Not 1 cent for 4 years of being forcibly detained. So remember the ship's owner company? Well, turns out that they've abandoned 4 different ships. This is their business model. But here's what nobody wants to admit. The system works exactly as designed. Flags of convenience make money by asking no questions. Ports make money from fees. Owners make money until they don't, then disappear. The only people who lose are the sailors. Right now, as you're watching this, there are 2,000 sailors trapped on abandoned ships. Some haven't been paid in years, some haven't seen their families in even longer. And the Maritime Labor Convention has no teeth. Flag states ignore their obligations, port authorities wash their hands of responsibility, and this isn't about maritime law being complicated. It's about human beings being treated as less important than a $21,000 anchor. Mohammed Aisha still wants to go back to sea. After 4 years of imprisonment, he still loves sailing. The MV Aman still sits rusted in Egyptian waters, still abandoned, still waiting for someone to pay its debts. And somewhere, right now, another sailor is signing a paper they don't understand, becoming a legal guardian they didn't choose to be, and beginning an imprisonment somewhere they don't deserve. The sound of freedom, only if you're not the one trapped on board. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about abandoned seafarers and how to help, I'm going to link the ITF website down below. And once again, I am so thankful for your viewership. This is my second ever YouTube video, and I can't wait to share the next one with you guys. If you want more daily content focused on business and culture and investigative journalism style stuff, please check out my Instagram, also linked from my channel. Alrighty, see you next week.